Hi, welcome to a Dialed Outdoor production. Today we're going to be tying a string leech. This pattern I saw from Friday Night Flies. Those dudes have a really good page. I recommend giving them a follow and a look on YouTube. So this string leech that works really well for salmon, trout, pretty much everything you want to. You could definitely use it for bass. There's more than one application. So we're going to tie it today with a stinger hook out the back. Make sure that this is facing up, and we're going to use a cone head. Those guys from Friday Night Flies were using a bead head, so any way you want to adjust to this sink rate, use whatever you like. You're going to need some Spectra Glimmer Chenille and Black, purple, pink and black rabbit strip, a beautiful pink Spey marabou feather, and some black herl, and then for a little bit of flash, got some opal baitfish looking flashavoo, and some crystal silver flash. It's going to be looking great. So we're going to start out by securing our cone head. I'm using a medium-sized brassy cone head. I like the way it looks. You can use whatever you like, whatever colors you want. Really adapt it for wherever you're fishing or whatever you want to fish for. Do about 3 or 4 wraps of lead wire. I then like to push it all together. Throw it up there. Today I'm using a 6/0 thread in black. Again, this isn't the end of the world. I like to use a nice heavy thread when I'm using big streamers, because it secures it in there nicer. Then I'm just kind of dressing up the hook loosely and snipping my excess free. So now it's time to figure out how long you want it. I have a magnet here on the back of mine, which I like my flies about this long. They're about 3.5, 4 inches long. So I'm going to take my braid or my Spectra and just kind of measure it out until you get it to where you want it. That should be good. And snip. Straighten it out a little bit. Perfect. And then I like to feed mine up into the cone head and make sure it's sitting perfectly on top of the fly. And then secure it down. As long as I got it where I want it, should be good. Then I'll take my stinger hook and I'll put it on, because I'm using this to measure out my rabbit. And boom. Nice, quick, easy thread on. Pull that tight. Then it sits up on my magnet. And then make sure when you're taking your rabbit strip here that you're putting it with the taper going with the length of the fly. So you got it going, this way, however it wants to lay. And I'm terrible at measuring this stuff out, so what I do is I start backwards. Hook it onto my stinger hook and let it run down until I get it where I want it. I always try and leave it a little, I'll tighten out my Spectra, my braid, but I'll try and leave the rabbit not super tight, so I got a little bit more than what I need. And we'll start tightening it down. I'll do about 3 or 4 wraps. I'll try and get the fur peeled back. And then if you want to come and cut it, since I got so much left I can do another fly, put your scissors in at an angle and cut it down. And then what you do is that you preserve the taper on the rabbit strip. And we'll lock this down. Lock it down pretty good, considering this is the bulk of the fly. We'll get this looking straight again. Now it's on for our black chenille shimmer glimmer black. So you could cut these in pre-wrap sections and use your hackle pliers to make this real neat and efficient. I am not that kind of girl, so I'm going to lock this down. Go back onto the rabbit strip. Do one wrap, work it back. 2 wrap, work it back. And then 3 wrap. Work it back a bit, pinch it off. 1, 2, 3. A little bit in front. Snip this excess free. Pull this back, and then I always wrap back. Well, so this is almost complete. Depending on how big you want to tie this, you actually could probably fish with this. Now it's time for our spay marabou. So you're going to take 1 feather. It'll ever come off. Take it off. Then we're going to tie it in by the tip. So I'm going to work this bad boy out. Right? So I can tie it in by the tip. Be very careful when you do this. They're super, super fragile. Then I always fold it back. Work each fiber loose. We're just going to palmer this. It's going to start getting pretty crazy. Just keep trying to get the fibers facing back. And that's probably about enough here. And perfect. Snip your excess free. Peel this whole thing back. Try not to stab yourself with your hook like I've been doing now. And boom. This is starting to look like a fly. This is pretty much complete. You could stop here if you wanted to. But we're not going to. We're not going to ever stop until we got the flashiest, biggest fly humanly imaginable. So I always start with my sides. So we're going to use this Flashabou here for the sides. And because it's long, I can't quite fold this in half and make it work. So we're just going to kind of wrap it in. We'll start with the side here. Don't worry about getting this perfectly even. If you're close, it's close enough. And then we're going to do the other side. Perfect. And then we're going to use that crystal flash here for the bottom. So what I like to do, because I'm a little cheater, is take 3 strands, fold them in half around my line, work them out to about the same length, pretty close, and then we're going to flip it to the bottom side of the fly, and then we're going to work back on it. Now if you got any flashaboo on the front, and then keep working, and then you're going to take your saddle hackle, find one good looking feather. Sometimes that's harder to do. This one will be fine. And I always tease all the fibers out, and I take these crappier fibers at the bottom, I just peel them off. And then I take one side and completely strip it, because I think it turns out neater and a more full looking fly if you don't have fibers laying on top of fibers pinching you down. And I broke that one. It's okay, we're just going to keep going. I don't want any of those on there because it's going to screw up the action on the fly. I'm going to take one whole side, strip it. Strip it down so it looks nice and clean. Yep. I'm going to tie this in by the tip. Again, be careful. All this is super fragile, and I like to work it all out and loose before I begin my wraps. Just try your best not to grab any of your fibers or flash from anywhere else on your fly. And if you do, just kind of work it back out. Take your time. There's no rush. Flash will start to sort itself out here at the end. Then you're going to take this and palmer it on. You can use hackle pliers for this. See here, I'm a big fan of just using my fingers. Whatever you like to use. I'll do 3 on. If I place, hold on to. There. Sorry, the whole thing came off the vise for a moment. So I'll do about 3 over top, 3 behind, just to secure it on, and snip the excess free. And then I'm going to comb everything back. And I'm going to do a few more wraps, just to kind of control it. If you notice it's not straight, which is why you want to do this with the point up, with the bend, with the eye up, you can wiggle this and get some of the material back underneath it, keeping your fly pretty organized. And then to finish it, I take a little bit of glue. Need very little of this and paint it onto my thread. And I do overhand knots with my fingers, but now's the time for your whip finish. Whatever you like to do. I always start my knot above my glue, make sure it goes on, and pull. Since I got more thread with more glue that's not quite dry yet, might as well keep doing knots. And this should be the last one. I always do 3 to 5 or 6 or however many knots I feel like tying. And then take your flash here, and I always kind of start stretching my fly out. And I just wait till the end. You could have done this at any point after you tied the flash on. But I like to wait till the end, just so I am done, and I really don't find that it's in the way. And I pull this rabbit strip out, and once I am at the end of my rabbit strip, then I cut all my flash. That right there is a string leech. Effective for trout, salmon. I can imagine you'd use this for bass, pike, or muskie too. It's a pretty solid fly. Give me a like and a follow if you want to see more videos like this. And if you want to go fishing with me in Juneau, Alaska, hop onto my website and book an appointment. I'm offering services all this summer. Alright, thank you, and have a great day.